Welcome to our little podcast, Hollywood Cats, a podcat about cat stories, cat care tips, and just a fun time to chat about cats. Hollywood Cats is hosted by Holly Meowie, president of the LA Cat Club, a not-for-profit cat rescue, and actress on numerous television shows, including currently as Beautiful Brenda on Lucha Underground on the El Rey Network nationally. Hollywood Cats is also hosted by Mark Rawlings, fellow cat lover and cat daddy, keeping the dream alive talking about cats. And now, from the Sunset Strip in Hollywood, here are Holly and Mark, your Hollywood Cats.
Gather around all, it is time for another Hollywood Cats. Here's Holly Meowie.
Bam, chicka meow meow.
Hey, hey. And I'm your cat daddy of choice, Mark Rawlings, and welcome to another Hollywood Cats.
Yes, woohoo.
We're going to talk about these, what are they, the big animal cats that they found in Europe, right?
Yeah, they're the wildcats that they're being released in England and Wales.
Yeah.
You know.
And they haven't been, I guess they went down to a very small number, and now they're breeding them and getting them all over the place. And these used to be like a regular thing, right?
Yeah, they're going to be extinct. And so now they're trying to breed these more wildcats. But the problem is, you know, once they start breeding them, they might start, like, humping the domestic ones.
Humping is a technical term.
Yeah, like I said, bam, chicka meow meow.
Yes, exactly.
The domestics.
So what's the story on these cats then? They were like a regular fixture for a long, long time, and they neared extinction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I know they eat a lot of creatures, namely small creatures out in the wild.
Yeah, so farmers are actually like really interested in having them like kill like rodents and stuff that bother their crops.
Right, that makes sense.
But then, you know, they also have to worry about their free-range chickens because they'll attack those too. You know, they want to eat both.
Yeah, they don't differentiate between what we consider a rodent and what we consider food, if you will.
Right. And they're also, you know, like house cats and them are, you know, procreating all over the place. And so it kind of makes, you know, we don't need any more feral cats because feral cats, you know, I'm dealing with actually currently I have a litter of kittens for adoption. Mm-hmm. Go to my website, please, to adopt my kittens. Desperately needing homes for them. And we have a feral cat that is in the backyard that, you know, gave birth to these babies. And she is vicious.
Really?
Yes. She literally, because I let her nurse the babies and stuff, we've been letting her do that. And, you know, but we have to like leave the room when she does it. And then we have to let her out. And when we let her out, she literally tripped me once. Like, she's vicious. So I can only imagine what these cats, you know, even a feral or domestic cat could be like, you know.
Well, they say they're untamable. So they're just out in the wild, and so they're like, oh, that's cute. Come here, kitty. Let me touch you. And like, zip, they're gone, I'm sure.
Right. Yeah. Because, I mean, you know, even you could tame like a lion or a tiger. You could actually tame it. But these cats that they're releasing apparently can't be tamed.
I mean, they're very pretty. I mean, they look approachable, although not. Yeah, I guess the closest reference would be what we consider a feral cat. But these are wild creatures that it says that they have not roamed for 150 years. That's a long time. I mean, it's kind of cool they're bringing it back. I mean, any species they get saved.
I mean, there's things going into extinction, like I just saw recently polar bears are going to extinction also. So, you know, maybe they'll start breeding polar bears to run all over.
Well, they sure are pretty too.
Yeah, right? I mean, so I'm all for like bringing animals, you know, like out of extinction and breeding them and stuff for that purpose. I'm not into breeding cats for, you know, to buy them. Yeah. There's too many cats in the pound for that.
Oh, yes, there are.
But,
yes, there are.
You know, so good job, you know, Wales and Britain.
which leads us to our next subject, which is very similar, and this is about cats that are out in the wild, and a lot of people don't understand it. I certainly didn't. When these cats are out there, you think because you try to approach them also, and you can't because they're feral. But there are rules that have worked and not worked, a lot of trial and error over the years. And one here in the Los Angeles area is called Fix Nation. And they have some very good information. And you know a lot about this. Is trap, neuter, return? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, so a lot of people get it confused, like I have, and my girlfriend Kalia, she did recently. And it can be trap, neuter, release, trap, neuter, return. The proper term is return, but my mouth just says release sometimes, just because this is just how I talk.
It's the same thing.
It is kind of the same thing. You're returning them. You're not just releasing them to any community. You are bringing them back to the colony where they are fed. Okay. So if there's a colony of cats, you basically go there at like dusk. You
why dusk?
But what? Because they're kind of like, that's when they come out to eat.
Oh yeah, because the cats sleep all day like regular cats. Okay,
yeah.
So they're
up all
active.
night having a party and eating and killing and doing all their vampire activities that they do. And so around duskish, when they come out to find food, you set traps out, and there are these metal humane traps that they're kind of like a rectangle. Is that a rectangle?
Yeah. You put some food in, I guess.
I'm really bad at shapes.
Yeah, okay.
Math and shapes. I'm terrible.
Shapes, okay. Cats are good at it. We know that.
Cats good.
That's all that matters on this show.
In science. Okay, so you set the trap and you put a really stinky food in there, like get the stinkiest tuna fish or some really
super
stanky,
pungent that they can smell from far away.
Right, exactly. And you put them in all the places the cats like to go. Like maybe it's near a dumpster, maybe it's like in your yard somewhere that you feed the cat on a normal basis. And you set the trap, and once the cat goes in the trap to eat the food, the little lever of the door goes down and they're trapped inside. And then people like me or your trap people in your local areas, they pick up the trap for you, or you take the trap to Fix Nation, and Fix Nation spays and noodles. They noodles. They neuter the ferals.
All in the same day, right?
All in the same day. They do about 80 to 90 cats a day. Like they do a lot of cats.
I mean, LA's a big place, but that's a big number too.
I mean, it's like they've got it down to a science. Like I've even been back there when they have them all laid out, passed out.
Really? They're all like a row? And
they're all in a row, and they've got their arms up, and their tummies are shaved, and it's kind of like, funny. It's like a,
assembly line.
Assembly line. That's what the words I was looking for. So you bring them there, and then you drop them off at like 8 a.m. You pick them up at like 4 o'clock, and they're fixed. And then you bring them home, and depending if it's a male or a female, if it's a female, you don't let them go right away. If it's a male, you can pretty much let them go.
Even though they're wild feral cats, you have to keep them in your place.
Well, like under, like in the trap, like in a safe place, and give them water and food. You keep them in the trap, because the traps, they can go to the bathroom in the traps, and it goes like out of the trap because it's all made of cage.
Like a mesh or something.
It's like a mesh, So, but so these feral kitties, you have to bring them back to their colony, because if you do not bring them back, they will try to find their way back home and get hit by a car.
Oh, it's the old, they'll always try to find their way.
So that's why it's return rather than release.
Okay.
Because you don't just release it anywhere. I
get it. Okay. So
you're but you are releasing.
You're borrowing them from their pack for a day or two, and God
bless trappers and people that do this. More people should get involved in their cat community with this, because it really helps the population of cats, unwanted cats all over the place that just eventually they will just die like out in the street. They get in fights and diseases and everything.
And let alone how many they multiply into the thousands of cats when you don't get them fixed.
Yeah. So please, people, get involved in your cat community TNR programs. 100%.
Yeah. Well, Holly and I have actually gone out and done just the trapping part. I didn't know the science behind it. It just sounded like, oh, sounds good. We'll do that and go have a few beers. But
right? No, we actually, one time, Mark lived in this place, and Mark lived behind the shelter, actually.
Yes, exactly.
So there were actually, I don't know if people just throw cats there because it's the shelter.
There were a lot.
You know what I
There were
mean?
a
So it's
lot.
like it's almost like people just deserted cats there.
Yeah.
And we would literally go set traps behind his house and then go have a glass of wine, watch TV, whatever. And then sure enough, when we came back out, there were cats in
Yeah.
the traps.
Somebody needs to come up with a trap that has like a notification, kind of like an app on your phone. You know,
Oh, my God,
the lid
Mark.
closes and boom, you don't have to wait. You just go do your job.
I think you've got something.
I don't know if that's a big money maker or not, but it's an idea, nevertheless.
It's a money maker for me. I love that idea.
Well, it's an interesting concept, and actually, the trapping part of it was kind of fun. I mean, it's like you're on an adventure, and then you go back, or I didn't do this part, but Holly goes back the next day and see what your prize is.
Yeah, you see what you get.
And they're none too happy, I might add too. Like,
Yeah.
she's at them, and they hiss and they're crazy, but you're doing good.
And
you
then
know?
sometimes you get the old possum in there, and that's a
You
big
get a random possum.
disappointment.
I did that when I was a kid one time. They're scary.
Yeah.
Like, they do not like to be on the
Oh
daytime.
my
at all.
God.
Yeah, like the hissing.
I've probably, because I've been trapping for years and years and years, I probably have caught like 5 possums and a raccoon.
Wow.
The raccoon ruined my cage too. He was big.
Yeah.
So I've caught
Crazy
some other
stuff.
things, because not only cats go in there, other animals too, but
Yeah.
you just let those go. We don't spay and neuter possums and raccoons. There's
Well,
no point.
Save it for the future, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's a good thing, and honestly, it's if somebody's listening and wants an extra hobby, it actually is kind of hobby like, and you're helping, and if you love cats, it's just a way to further that, right?
Yeah, and they get their little ear tip too. That's
Oh,
another
yeah.
thing is they get a tiny little piece taken off their ear, and a lot of people don't like to hear this, but it actually helps, because if you trap a kitty and it doesn't have that ear tip and it's already been fixed, it has to go through getting opened up again.
Wow.
And then they realize, oh, this cat's fixed already,
Yeah.
So the ear tip helps us trappers know it's fixed, and to help the pound know not to take that cat in because it's been fixed, so there's no point to take it to the shelter either.
Absolutely. Well, now
So,
we know.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Now we know.
Well, that's it for another Hollywood Cats podcast. Thank you, Holly Meowie. Where can they find you and adopt those fine cats of yours?
Thecatclub.org. We have kitties for adoption. LA Cat Club on Facebook. We have our newest kitties. I have an adoption video that just came out with all of our newest little baby kitties from that feral mommy I talked about earlier.
They're cute, I saw.
Oh, they're so cute. And then, yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So they find you at
LA Cat Club on Instagram,
That's the best
Twitter,
one.
and Facebook.
Sounds good. Well, thank you very much, and join us next time for another Hollywood Cats.
From Hollywood, you've been listening to Hollywood Cats, stories and facts about cats. Be sure to join us next time for more with Holly and Mark. And don't forget our website, HollywoodCats.com. That's Hollywood and cats ending in Z. HollywoodCats.com. And thanks for joining us on Hollywood Cats.